Good Monday morning, friends. Thank you for joining us on brproud.com and on the free BR Proud app. I'm meteorologist Ashley Ruiz. It is 10:06 on this Monday morning. So if you catch this a little later, be sure to log on to our website, brproud.com, or on the free BR Proud app. At the top, you will see the latest story on the tropics. We have Tropical Storm Delta and Tropical Storm Gamma. So we'll start with Gamma. Gamma this morning, not very organized. Here's the center of where Gamma was last located, and check out where all the convection, all of the moisture is well offset from the center. It's really battling some serious wind shear and dry air, so you can see it right there on the water vapor imagery this morning. This orange and brown color, that's indicating some dry air, and so it is, or there is a lot of wind shear in the Gulf of Mexico right now. So that is why it's really just not holding itself together, which let me show you the latest on Gamma. So this storm is going to continue to weaken and meander in the coming days, and the National Hurricane Center has it pretty much dissipating within the next few days. It will likely interact with Delta, which is currently in the Caribbean, and Delta, being the stronger of the system, will likely ingest Gamma. So I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about the Fujiwara effect, which I will talk about a little bit. This will, again, these two systems will likely interact. We talked about the Fujiwara effect back when we were dealing with Laura and Marco. This case, this one would likely get ingested by Delta, which is going to be a stronger system. It has intensified as of the 10 a.m. advisory. Tropical Storm Delta now moving to the west at 7 miles per hour. It is to the south of Jamaica as we speak. Max sustained winds of 45 miles per hour, and it is forecast to intensify into a hurricane perhaps as early as tomorrow, maybe a little earlier. I would not be surprised to see if it does undergo some rapid intensification while it's in the Caribbean. It is still forecast to move into the Gulf of Mexico sometime late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and then intensify into a Cat 2 hurricane. It will likely, this is as of right now, reach a maximum intensity while it's in the central Gulf of Mexico, where there's a lot of low wind shear and very warm sea surface temperatures. So if it were to reach its peak, it may be a Cat 2, maybe a Cat 3, maybe stronger. We'll have to see. But by the time it reaches the northern Gulf Coast, which it is forecast to do, it may weaken a little bit because it will likely encounter some wind shear along with some cooler sea surface temperatures, which I'll get to in a minute. But the latest track brings it toward the southeastern or even south central coast of Louisiana as a hurricane, possibly a Cat 2 hurricane, early Friday morning. The latest track brings it just near possibly Morgan City, near Grand Isle perhaps even, with max sustained winds of around 100 miles per hour. That would occur Friday morning. But I do want to stress that I don't want you to focus on the center of the cone. I want you to focus on the entire cone. The cone represents where the center of the storm could potentially track, which includes the upper Texas coast to the Florida panhandle. So pay attention, look, see how it can move maybe even toward the eastern portion of the cone. So impacts will be felt well away from the center as well, and then eventually it will make that bend back to the northeast, and it will rapidly weaken once it's over land. So this is going to be something we're going to have to watch once again very, very carefully. I took that middle line of the cone out just so you don't focus solely on where the current possibly track brings it, because we will likely see changes with this track over the next 24, 36, 48 hours, even possibly up to maybe Wednesday. So once confidence begins to grow, we will be able to fine-tune the specifics, whether we could feel direct impacts, indirect impacts. You guys know the drill. Now, if it were to move more toward the west, toward possibly Acadiana or toward southwest Louisiana, our impacts would be greatly higher than if it moved toward the mouth of the Mississippi River, Mississippi, Alabama, or even toward northwest Florida. But if it were to take this exact path, we could possibly feel some direct impacts here in the capital city in south central Louisiana. With its current path, This is going to change. I want to stress this. This is over the next 7 days. We could possibly see 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. But again, if it tracks more to the west, our rainfall totals will go up because the highest rainfall totals will be near and east of the center. If it moves more to the east, our rainfall totals will be significantly less. So I'll walk you through some of the computer models. I don't want you to focus on one specific computer run, model run, because these run several times a day and they will likely change. So here is a look at the current the spaghetti plots. They've been pretty bullish, showing potentially a track toward, again, south central Louisiana or southeast Louisiana, possibly again toward maybe southwest Alabama. So these are going to change. We'll likely see something called the windshield wiper effect. I'm sure you'll also hear about that, where the track moves more west, moves more east, and this is going to be the case. So be aware of what you share on online, and make sure you check your sources and check the timing as well. I will show you the European model. This is showing, and again, this is also showing something along the Fujiwara effect. So this particular, let me back up. So you're seeing two areas here, one of which near Cuba, the other near the Yucatan. The one on the left, that would be gamma, and then delta near Cuba. And basically it shows it being absorbed, the delta getting absorbed, or not delta, gamma being absorbed by delta, sorry. So then it shows it moving toward the south central coast of Louisiana, possibly Friday morning as a hurricane. So, and then it shows it quickly moving inland. Same with the latest run of the GFS. It shows pretty much the exact same thing, and it shows it possibly making landfall again near south central coast of Louisiana Friday morning. So we're going to have to watch the model trends over the next 24, 48 hours. This is going to be a trend watch. So if you are one that looks at some of the computer models and such, just watch the trends. If they're really, really consistent with a Louisiana landfall, that's something that would raise our eye. Now, if they have some moving toward Florida or toward southwest Louisiana and such, and so on and so forth, then that also is something to keep in mind, because things will likely change. So as for the potential for tropical storm force probabilities, this is the chance of 39 mile per hour winds or greater. Give it a second to populate there. This is showing the potential for us to see tropical storm force winds, showing the Baton Rouge metro possibly over 50% chance for some tropical storm force winds. And keep in mind, the wind field by then will likely expand a little bit, so impacts will be felt well away from the center. So walking you through the wind shear, because as I mentioned, this is going to be a major key. Right now it's in a very low sheared environment. The bright colors that you see, that is indicating wind shear. So I plotted the track of delta just to kind of show you, because it's entering a low sheared environment in the Gulf of Mexico, and as it approaches the northern Gulf Coast, it's going to run into some wind shear, which should keep it from rapidly intensifying by landfall. Of course, this could change, but this does show it weakening as it encounters some of that wind shear. How much does it weaken? That's going to be a big question mark that we're going to have to watch for along the northern Gulf Coast. So that would also be something working in our favor. Also, here's a map showing sea surface temperatures above 80 degrees. You see in the Central Gulf, that's bathwater, showing over 85 degrees of sea surface temperatures. And the farther north you are, especially along the northern Gulf Coast, temperatures are below 80 degrees. So we have that continental shelf just along the Gulf Coast, and so the sea surface temperatures are not as warm. So that would also work in our favor, but that also does not completely rule out the fact that we could have a strong hurricane along the northern Gulf Coast. So the takeaways, again, still way too soon to tell if this will directly impact our area, and I mean directly impact as in we get a direct hit. We could feel indirect impacts or direct impacts in the form of storm surge, coastal flooding, winds, a heavy rain, possibly some isolated tornadoes, all depending on where the track or where the storm ultimately tracks. Impacts could be felt possibly starting Thursday and lasting through Saturday. So all folks from the upper Texas coast all the way to the northwest Florida panhandle need to prepare and plan now, so you're not caught off guard while the weather's quiet, because it's going to be nice and quiet today, even tomorrow. So a lot of us have used some of our items in our hurricane kit. I know I have tapped in some of my waters, so you want to make sure you replenish those items just to be ahead of this, and so you're not rushing to complete any last minute preparations, whether we get directly impacted by this or not. We'll still likely feel some gusty winds, so if you have your Halloween decorations up, maybe make sure they're secured later this week, and maybe bring lawn furniture in, clear those storm drains. We haven't had really any significant rain lately, so now would be the time to clear the storm gutters, all of that. And be sure to stay ahead of this. You download our free BR Proud app. That is a good tool to have, a really important tool to have. You get storm alerts, you can track it yourself, you can get the latest from the National Hurricane Center at the palm of your hand. We'll have our updates on brproud.com and on the free BR Proud app, and it's free. That's the most important thing, right? And you'll get some notifications. Now, we could start to see some alerts being posted for the northern Gulf Coast later, perhaps Tuesday maybe, because normally we see tropical and hurricane watches issued at least 48 hours out from possible impacts. So we're going to continue to follow this and keep you posted. If you are just joining us, I'm going to show you the track one more time just to, again, brush up on some of this. It's still forecast to become a possibly Cat 2 hurricane, but it could be stronger than that, making landfall along the northern Gulf Coast, all the way from the upper Texas coast, pretty much the Louisiana-Texas state line, to the Florida panhandles within this cone of uncertainty. So again, folks from upper Texas coast to Florida need to prepare now. That puts Louisiana in the heart of the cone. So this is why we're stressing. Also plan or prepare for a category higher than forecast. It's currently forecast to be a Cat 2 at landfall. Plan for a Cat 3 just in case. So again, you are prepared and you're safe rather than underprepared. So again, please download our free BR Proud app. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can reach out to me on social media, Facebook, Twitter. I frequently update those social media platforms. brproud.com, I'll have the latest, everything that I've talked about here on the website, on the top, and we will have team coverage all week long, getting you prepared and get you through all this. But again, as of now, it's still too early to tell if we will get directly impacted by Delta, but we will continue to follow it and keep you guys posted right here at BR Proud app, brproud.com, and on Fox 44 in WVLA, NBC Local 33. So I hope you take care, enjoy the quiet weather. It's going to be nice, only a high near 82 degrees today, nice, low humidity, but things will change. So stay weather aware, take care, and check back in with us frequently. Bye, guys.